Thanks to our friends at The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Check out the link below, fool.com/the smattering, to get access to the 10 best stocks to buy right now. We're still kind of in the middle of a bear market here, but there are actually stocks that are near their all-time highs, and there's a lot more stocks that are near their 52-week highs. I'm Jason Hall. This is The Smattering. We're going to talk about one of those stocks right here today. I've got Tyler Crow with me. Hey, Tyler.
Hey, how's it going, Jason? I am going to steal the host mic from you for a moment here because this was the one that you came to me and wanted to talk about, and it's Starbucks. Starbucks is at a 52-week high, or maybe a percentage point as we're recording this. What is going right for them?
So again, near that 52-week high, right? And part of the reason it's near a 52-week high, Tyler, is there was a massive amount of negative sentiment for the company last year. So you think about so many things. A lot of its business is built on locations that are kind of in business-centric areas. There's been a lot of concern about the transition to remote work affecting its business because now they don't have a lot of Starbucks in neighborhoods. They have them in business centers, right? So worries about its business suffering from people that don't go get that daily fix at the Starbucks that's a half a mile from their office. It's 10 minutes from their house, right? So there's concerns about that. The labor strife, think about how many stores now have union representation, the challenges with management, where we have Howard Schultz back again for the third time, and his replacement is kind of on an internship. It's a really weird scenario with the replacement CEO there. And there's been a lot of negative sentiment, but really you go back to kind of late last spring, early last summer, and this stock has been on a bit of a tear. And the reason that's the case is the business results have been pretty solid overall. And not just in North America. Of course, the US is its largest market now, its most important market today, but there's still a lot of big expectations for China. You have 500 million people that are considered middle class, historically not a coffee drinking market, but it has quickly become a coffee drinking market. And the company anticipates that China is going to be by far its biggest market, maybe as soon as a few years from now, and continue to grow for the long term, Tyler.
So I'm going to give one little anecdotal thing that I think highlights when a great business makes a surprisingly good transition, because a lot of companies struggle with transitions. And I remember, if you think back 10 years ago, visiting a Starbucks meant physically going into the location. And you walked into a Starbucks location and they were busy, people sitting down, kind of a little bit more of a cafe mood. Today, the Starbucks that I visit all the time, the interior is certainly not as full, but drive-through has been a huge game changer for them. You can't go by a drive-through for a Starbucks at almost any given hour of the day without at least 2 to 3 cars deep, at least in the locations I've seen. And it's stunning because, if you follow businesses long enough, not everyone is able to make those kind of transitions. Those things are a lot harder than, I think we tend to give people credit for. And it is interesting to see that they have been able to navigate that quite well. And, it bodes well should they have to make transitions again.
Kevin Johnson, who Howard Schultz has come in to replace, who retired, was a wonderful CEO. And he led the company's transition. This is somebody that had a tech background, actually was an engineer by training, came in from Silicon Valley to run Starbucks and built what they call their digital flywheel. So you think about mobile order and payments, getting more drive-through locations, doing things in the back end to use technology to increase throughput. And the company is really, really well positioned from that perspective. I think the biggest transition going forward is making sure that they manage a successful future in China. I think they have some advantages over tech companies in China where their intellectual property is the brand. I think there's some protection there because that brand power is really strong. And it essentially sells a commodity product that it can source for relatively cheap and get really, really good margins on. I think this is a really interesting stock near its 52-week high, especially considering, Tyler, that it still hasn't fully recovered. It's down about 15% from its all-time high. I think there's still good upside for investors here.